107.7 Today FM. I'm Kate. We are on the phone with Brother Chris, one half of Haunting Live Podcast. Thanks so much for chatting with me, Chris. How are you doing?
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Kate. It's good to talk to everybody who's in Stratford, especially right when Stratford, though, is like my second home. My parents grew up there. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's so good to chat with you. Haunting Live Podcast, so you and Trevor are coming back to Stratford at Stratford Perth Museum for another ghost tour. You've done a couple before, you're coming back. And before we dive into the ghost tour at the museum, a little bit of background for the listeners. How did you, Brother Chris, and Trevor get into investigating the paranormal?
We founded ourselves actually in 2010. For most people that know us, we used to be called the Guys Paranormal Team, and then OGPS Filming. Now we're actually Haunting Live. So what we've done though is we've investigated like large places throughout Ontario, even Stratford, which I love Stratford.
Oh, of course.
Well, again, my parents grew up there, so I got to know Stratford quite well, especially with all the legends and about the secret tunnels built there in Stratford. So, yeah.
So when Haunting Live Podcast, you and Trevor, come to investigate in Stratford at the Stratford Perth Museum, what can people who are joining you, what can people expect from this paranormal investigation?
With us, though, what we will do, since most people used to think about going actually out to ghost tours, we're not like most common ghost tours. We get you to do the exploring. So going walking around and actually listening to somebody. All right, you get to explore directly. What I do though is I will get you guys to open up your chakras, all your 7 chakras. I will get you guys to open. Right when we open, we talk briefly about us. Megan, the one that's in charge with the events there, actually at the Stratford Perth Museum, she does talk about history. Now, the home does go back actually to 1870 time period, roughly. The house was originally actually poured and all that in 1832 to 1914 time period. There was originally a house actually on this land, and it was an old wooden house. It did catch fire. So, yeah, we talk about that. Actually, on the outside, they take you in the basement out of the house, which is closed off to everybody.
Right, so we get the exclusive basement access at the Stratford Perth Museum.
Yeah. Now, there is actually negative energy actually on the property. So, yeah, one of our girls that actually helps us out, she has been attacked. People have actually heard stuff in the force area.
Oh, no way.
So, yes. With my group, though, I do with the inside. So I take you basically inside the house, and I get you guys to do a energy circle, right? And then you guys get to explore the location. I always say to you guys, write down your emotion. And then we swap halfway through.
Right, so everybody gets to investigate inside and outside at the Stratford Perth Museum.
Yeah, that is correct. And then at the end, though, you compare the notes. See exactly what one group got, what the other group got, and sort of see if they match up.
Yeah, it's worth it to investigate with Haunting Live Podcast at Stratford Perth Museum. It's worth it to buy a ticket, and the tickets are $40?
It is $40 plus also the government tax, unfortunately. It is $40. If you guys are interested, please get your tickets again through Stratford Perth Museum website. That there is stratfordperthmuseum.ca.
Okay, awesome. So go get your tickets, stratfordperthmuseum.ca. I have my tickets, and I am pumped up. Haunting Live Podcast and investigate around the museum. And Brother Chris, when you and Trevor, Haunting Live Podcast, come to Stratford, not just at the Stratford Perth Museum, but when you're out and about, what kind of spirits do you usually meet when you're investigating?
So we meet spirits actually from time periods. We meet spirits actually also from the cemetery, which is the lower half of the cemetery, because there's legends there, which we've come across. Also with Mr. Furry, he's been actually there in the past, but we come across the former owners actually of the former Queen's Inn. So yeah.
Wow. Stratford has such a rich history and heritage, so, I mean, investigating it further in a paranormal sense is really neat. It's a whole new perspective.
Yeah, it is. The reason why is because so many people, again, though, are starting to believe more within the spiritual community, right? Compared to the religious community. All right, sorry for saying that, but it is true. Anyway, so people are starting to believe. So that way you're walking down the road if you feel something weird, right, and you're like, okay, did I just see something or did I just feel something, right? You always question yourself twice. There is so much actually energy within the heart of Stratford.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I think it'll be a real eye-opener for a lot of people to come to an investigation like this at the Stratford Perth Museum and investigate the spirits that are still roaming around Stratford.
Yep, so there is so much. Now, talking about the cemetery, the original homeowner of the building, right where the museum is standing today, his family plot is actually in the cemetery.
Oh my goodness.
And we were running the SB11. For those that don't know what it is a device that creates white noise. That way the energy can communicate. And anyways, though, my hair at the time was bleach blonde. So what came across, though, was blonde guy. That was coming actually in a female voice.
Wow, my jaw's on the floor. That really sends chills down your spine, doesn't it?
It does. So yeah, with the event though, it's worth coming out. You get again a hands-on experience, and you guys get to explore the location itself.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's sure to be a life-changing, eye-opening experience for anybody who comes February 9th with Haunting Live Podcast at the Stratford Perth Museum. You can get your tickets at stratfordperthmuseum.ca. And one more question before we go, Brother Chris. Do you still feel fear when you're investigating? Do you still get scared?
I don't, because my angels are with me. But the only thing I'm scared about, though, is clowns.
Oh, me too. I don't like clowns at all. They give me the heebie-jeebies. Thank you so much, Brother Chris, for taking the time to chat with me today.